a little bit early. So
Nice.
there it is. We're live. Lois, how are you doing?
Nice. Just hop on a call with you before I go out for a run.
Yeah, gotcha.
Can I vape on this stream, or is it not polite? Or
Fine by me. I don't
all
have any problems with it. I can't smell it over here. I'm over here in South Carolina. So
right, all right, the vape is ready.
cool. Yeah, I was saying before we started, I don't think that's your real room, just because I've seen other people with that room. So
You said keep it R rating, so I'm not gonna say anything here.
I just don't want to exceed R. Johnny,
Um,
what's up? Is this one of your colleagues by any chance, Lois? Or
no, I think Johnny from Twitter, bro works in German, right Angular a lot.
oh, cool.
So you guys probably find each other cool.
I've mainly gone past Angular, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's still fine. It's still fine. I don't know. I tend to reach for React at this point, but I probably, if I had a big team that had a bunch of Angular experience, I'd definitely reach for that. Oh, Stefan Haas, welcome. We're doing great. Doing
Yay.
great. I'm excited. So Lois and I had a chat yesterday, but I was very specific that I didn't want to know anything about Zephyr just yet because I wanted to save it all for this stream because I don't really know anything about it aside from like what I've heard from Column so far. So
what did Colin tell you?
what did Column tell me? He told me that it's like y'all built deployment into the bundler steps, which I don't really understand exactly what that means. I have like some idea of what that means. For me, bundling itself is sort of this black box that I don't fully like. I don't know exactly what's going on. What I understand is like, here's my TypeScript. Let's bundle this into something that I can like deploy to NPM if it's like a package, or let's bundle this into something I can put on a web server so it can like host my static site, or something along those lines. So for the most part, it's just like I've gone out of my way to never have to mess with like Webpack plugins and therefore RSPack plugins. A lot of it seems like a lot of string manipulation in general, I would imagine. But Ahmed's in the house. Ahmed, you are one of the people that came to mind. I'm pretty sure you've used this background before in the past. Which Ahmed's in London right now too, so I don't know. Maybe
I know Ahmed. We went out a couple of times. We went out.
Oh, nice.
We were doing cigar in central London.
What?
Yes.
I'm jealous. I'm jealous.
A very nice garden, a cocktail bar. We're doing a cigar in the garden. Very nice. And we went karting as well. Like, go back to the bundling thing. For every bundlers, they I work
bundling
in a
and go-karts.
Bundler thing.
It's a quality stream right now. Quality tech stream.
Karting was fun. I love it. Cool. Yes. So each bundlers, they expose certain sets of APIs, so you can tap into how it processes things. Like the APIs could be including like, hey, we are about to bundle, we're not yet started, do you want to do something here? And then we have the code here, do you want to do something with the code? Do you want to transform the code? And then like they might give you statistics. Say Webpack, they did very nice. They tell you like, oh, we are about 70% finished.
Like I imagine, like I'd be interested to like go in a deep dive of like all of the bundling pieces, like, and just understand. Like, I imagine there's like life cycle hooks in the life cycle of the bundling process, and I imagine those are things that you would hook into to like apply some change. So I'd be interested in just like understanding what that is, and just understanding too, like, are those life cycle hooks, like, are those generally agreed upon? Like, are those consistent between bundlers? Like, I know, for example, Webpack and RSPack, they purposely have the same API, so I imagine they must have the same life cycle hooks. But like, compare that to, I don't know, like, again, I may be showing my inexperience here, but compare that to like Vite or Rollup, and I think like Vite uses Rollup or something like that. So yeah, I like not my area of expertise, but I'm curious if like those it does Rollup is it doing the same thing as Webpack, number one, and number two, like do they have similar APIs? Like could these APIs, like I imagine they're not exactly the same, but could they be like, I don't know, adapted to each other to make that work?
So the first question is like, does Rollup and Webpack have the similar sets of API? And the second question is, do they adapt to each other?
Yes.
And
Let's
when do you
start
say
there.
to each other, what do you mean?
So like I assume they don't have the same API, like first of all. So then the question is there a way that you can translate between the two? Like if you had like well, I imagine one thing a lot of people want to do is they have some sort of legacy Webpack bundling whatever, right? And they have all their plugins that they've constructed to make their bundling process and their build process what they want it to be. But then Vite comes along and everyone wants to jump onto Vite. Do they have a way of taking those plugins and like using them and applying them to Vite? Because
applying a Webpack plugin to Vite?
Yeah, like is there some adapter that they can use so they can actually use the same exact plugin and just say, hey, here's the Vite adapter to this plugin? Is that something that happens?
Yeah, but say that the classic SVGR example, there's SVGR core, and then the core SVGR like code that transform your SVG files into JSX, you can share parts of it within your Vite or Webpack plugin, but still you need an adapter because the API exposed are ultimately different, right?
Gotcha.
In the docs, the Vite and Webpack, they'll both tell you like the similar logic is they can give the logs. They tell you, hey, this is the hook, you can do something before it starts, and then this is the hook, so you can do something during it, and then this is the hook, you can like, we passed it, what do you want with it, and then these other hooks, like, okay, we are closing, we finished it, and like even between closing and finish, they're like when you are running in dev mode or when you're running in build mode. So those are like a common set of like concepts in the bundle hooks. But then if you go into Webpack, it's much more fine-grained and the hooks are more, it's much configurable. It just the docs is a bit headachy to look at, but you can have a lot of nice things.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'm curious about what that all looks like. I don't know if I want to get too deep into that. Like, I think someone said like this is a deep rabbit hole here, and as much as I'm interested in it, I don't want it to be the focus of this stream. Like, I want this stream to be more like let me just throw on screen here, like. This is kind of what I'm hoping for. Yeah. Excalibur. Module Federation and Zephyr Cloud. So we've done like some stuff in the past on Module Federation with Column. So just plugging that idea into what we're talking about with bundlers. I guess the way I understand it, like Module Federation is something that happens sort of at the Webpack level, because what you're doing is like you're taking a code base that I have that I'm like working on, like it's on my local computer, it's in my mono repo, let's say, and I'm making changes in one package, I'm making changes in another package, but Webpack is figuring out based on manifest files we give it or configuration files we give it, like how these things are modularized, so, and then where to host them as we're doing stuff. So it's inside the bundler step, as I understand, like we're importing from this package, and to me, I'm like importing it via an import statement. But when the bundler comes in, it actually needs to import that from whatever server that module is hosted on. Is that?
Yeah.
Am I on the right track?
You are. Yeah, I would say like you are hitting almost correct. Yeah.
Okay. Where am I off? Let's start there.
Like I think it would be really nice to distinguish between like micro frontend frameworks and Module Federation, because Module Federation is you can use it as a micro front-end framework, but it's more than that. And micro front-end framework, you are just sharing UI components and libraries. Like you could have like and like before you have micro front-end framework, you could be publishing your UI libraries to npm and you just downloading it from somewhere else, or like there's some code into S3 bucket. But module federation, you can run anything with JavaScript, right? And you can you can do whatever types of JavaScript, like UMD, like universal modules type, AMD, System.js, all different types of like. Before you can run it on different types of JavaScript, and then you can run it on anywhere that can run JavaScript. So that includes like web workers, Node.js, the browser environments like in V8, Spider Monkeys. Yeah.
What is Spider Monkeys?
It's one of the engines like V8 in
I see.
other browsers. Yes.
Gotcha. Okay. Cool. So, gotcha. I mean, the way I've always thought of it, you see, I hear you talking about the distinction between module federation and micro front ends.
Yeah.
The way I've thought of it is like this idea of module federation is like the mechanic that enables micro front ends. It's not necessarily synonymous with it. Like in some ways, like if you look at the way the web was before, in the before times, like before we had node modules just being this black hole on all of our computers, it's like, how did we bring in another package? If you go back to like the stuff from, I don't know, the early 2000s or the late or the early 2010s, it's like you did it like npm install. You added like a link tag or to your HTML that was like, bring in this library. And the way I think of module federation is kind of like that, right? Like it's kind of like we're going back to that, only rather than just pointing to like somebody's deployment of this that you don't have control over, you don't necessarily trust. You're just pointing to like a server that you are managing, and it's something that you've deployed over there. Is that fair? Or you're just making fun of me for going historical.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyone remember what is that what is that, Barebone, or was it a thing that Ryan Caniato was working on before Solid? I don't remember that.
Oh, I don't remember. Yeah. What was that?
Backbone.js.
Backbone.js.
Was it?
I'm not super familiar with that. Backbone.js. I'm looking it up now.
But this is not really module federation related.
Okay. Well, then let's get rid of it. Let's stay on target here.
We just like got distracted by Yuri. Hi, Yuri.
Yeah. Apparently, Require.js was not great. Horrible times.
Yeah.
Johnny, right here.
What do you mean? Remember? Oh wow, Johnny. That's why we don't talk a lot.
Exactly.
Johnny was the one when I asked everyone like, "Hey guys, I want to write a database. Where should I start?" And Johnny replied, "Hey, here's the steps you should do to write a database." Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to work in a bundler company. It's easier.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, like for what it's worth, like databases, I have a very similar idea of like what's happening there. It's like I think if I don't know if I could like figure out all the way of like parsing SQL syntax. In particular, SQL syntax is just like this wild thing that like I can get to work, but I don't fully understand all that stuff. But I feel like the principles of everything, I get it. Like I get what indexing is, I get what all that stuff is. I feel like I could implement it. I feel like kind of similar with bundling, just like I could do it if I needed to. I really don't want to though. I guess is where I'm at. Like
yes.
Like God bless those who do that for us. So the folks at Beat, the folks at
yeah,
Webpack.
you told me never mind. Just database. I just think about database a lot. I think about what type of database I want to write a lot.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, random association. But like one of the big things we dropped with NX20 here was behind the scenes, we're using a database now locally for the cache on people's local computers. So that's fun. It's essentially like moving away from the flat file way of doing it, where everything was just on like .nx/cache. We're just throwing things onto the file system, and like literally the directory was like named the hash of what we called it, which was fine. Like it works fine. It's moderately fast. It's a direct lookup. It's just we're reading from disk as opposed to like SQLite essentially. So we can make that faster. I believe it's SQLite. I don't know. Maybe Column could give us the answer, but
is Yuri
or Yuri might still be around. Yuri has a way of.
Hi, Column.
Oh, there's Column. Speak of the devil.
Hi, homie. I love you.
Speaking of which, someone asked way back when. Let me hit this real quick because Stefan Haas asked how we can use RSPack with Angular.
What version of Angular?
Yeah, that's a good question. But Column has this, right? Column has the package for this. I gotta get Column on for another live stream sometime so he can show us that. But yeah, the question, Column, the question was, what's the implementation? Like what database are we using on the local database for the local NX cache? It's like Angular 18. So I think that's the latest, right? Are they on 19 yet? I don't know. Like I said, I haven't been keeping up. Yeah, SQLite. Yes. Yep. I thought so. Cool.
Interesting. So that means all new projects started with NX is now on a database.
Yes. Well, it's on a local database that you don't necessarily even need to know is running.
So whenever I run NX reset, I'm hitting SQL drop all table.
Something like that, yeah. you're dropping your cache, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're dropping all tables or I don't know what the actual mechanism is behind that, but yeah. Yeah. So Angular's at 18, 19 is coming out soon. So yeah, I don't want to stay in the abstract for too long. Do we want to like do some sort of demo here?
Yes.
How do we do that? Can you drive me? I want to get into, like we've done with Column, like some examples of module federation with NX. We can definitely use that if that's helpful. I definitely want to get into like what Zephyr Cloud is and like actually use it a little bit if we can. Is that fair?
Should we do a very painful, or like should I sell the good part first and then do the demo? Yeah, let's do the good part first.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. I think Zephyr, the top thing that we really want to share is like deployments, because in micro front-end deployments is very headache, and there could be like millions of ways of doing it. And you could be pushing code into a bucket. You could be pushing code you could publish to npm, and you could like do something else and just let it have an remote entry. But with Zephyr, the headache part is like every time when you push, when you develop locally, you have a local host, and then when you push, you need to slot that URL back. So that means two things: like you are changing your build config all the time, and then you also, when you want to work on one component, you might need to spin out like 20 components to work on that one. And how big of that RAM and how long can that dev server survive?
Yeah. I think that was one of the things that we were hitting when we were looking at like the initial support for like module federation. Was just like how many web servers are we needing to spin up locally to make this work? And how many, I think it wasn't so much the dev servers, it was like how many file watching processes do we need where they're watching for changes so we can update.
Zephyr, you just need one.
Was Zephyr? Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. So how Zephyr work is basically we hook into your build process. We try to understand, we take a snapshot of what you are doing, We keep silence. We're just trying to figure out your authentication. Like, do you have right access to the destination you want? But then when you're actually building it, we're pretty quiet, and until you actually finish sealing everything, and then we will start the deployment part.
Okay. So that is happening as part of the bundler process.
So we are part of the bundler process. For the most of the popular bundlers, we have a plugin for it. So like Webpack or RSPack, Vite. Yeah.
Gotcha. So maybe this is a silly question, but why? Let me flesh out that a little bit, because the way I've done it, like the way I think most people are familiar with, is like you run your builds and you write this. The result is this artifact that is written to disk, right? So in NX, like we shove it in the disk directory by convention, but you could write it anywhere. And then you have this artifact that you could go and deploy out, right? So for me, like, I guess I've never really questioned why I do those things that way, and not like didn't deploy to a web service part of the bundler. But it's just always made sense to me that it's you write you run your build that creates an artifact that you put somewhere, and then you take that something that's that artifact and you put it to web server. I would imagine like whatever workflow that we would come up for module federation, at least from my understanding from talking with you and Colin about it, it's like you want to do something like the same thing, only instead of like a static website, you have the module, right? Like you have the module, and then you want to just deploy that out to, I don't know, somewhere like that. That would be like the separate process.
I think you just describe a perfect flow of why we're doing this. Like, imagine how much time you usually need from your local machine to web server.
How do you mean my local machine?
Like, how long does it take from when you're developing locally to deploying to a web server? How long do you usually wait on that project to build and deploy?
I mean, with a lot of the stuff we do, like the blog that we maintain at NX, that's like a 5 minutes CI pipeline, I believe. So like once the PR gets approved, we sent that out. So
and I think that's pretty good for like monolith or like
some of our larger clients still have like CI pipelines of like 20 minutes that go like we're trying to get them down to like 10 minutes would be like some goal that we'd set for a lot of folks. So
why are we doing this into the bundling process? One of the benefits, there are lots of benefits to this, but one of the benefits is allowing teams to ship different parts of the application, so they don't need to write together, and they don't need to spin up several dev server locally just to serve like the whole app. They could just serve a navigation bar, or like serve the host, and then they update whatever they want from there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool.
And each team, they can deploy on their own. They don't need to like, hey, I'm deploying this. Are you ready? Can we do a merge? Bestie, let me merge, please. Yeah.
Okay. That sounds kind of chaotic though. Like, I'm seeing is this Zach, does Zach work with y'all? Or is he one of the founders?
That's my boss.
Oh, cool. Hey, Zach. So sub-second, maybe I'm misunderstanding just like what exactly is happening with that, but like that sounds chaotic. Like are you deploying? I imagine that's not to a production server, right? Like that's,
you can pin it to a production server if you want.
Okay. Don't make any mistakes.
You can, but like that's like requires your access rights in Zephyr, and then you need to set up the environment. You need to have your own cloud. Like usually your productions, because we give you a URL for every time you deploy, and we version every applications. Every time you run a build and you deploy, we give you a version. So every time is a different URL. Gotcha. And if you open our use our Chrome extension, you can like just click on the drop down and check like, oh, there's like 100 or thousands of versions there, and change through time.
Gotcha. Okay. Interesting. All right.
And I
Well,
think one funny thing from our CTO was like, every time someone in the team propose a solution, and CTO would ask like, okay, how fast is this? Do you have a benchmark? Longer than this time? I will not think about it.
yeah.
Think about something else. I will not think about it.
Nice. Cool.
Yep.
Well, can we get like maybe hands-on with some of this stuff? Because
Yeah,
it sounds
sure.
super interesting. I'm definitely wanting to get into like what it actually looks like, though, how it actually plays out. Because maybe I'm just thinking about it wrong. Let me share my screen here. And yeah, Lois, if you could just maybe drive me through like,
I'll open a browser.
whatever you want. Oh, a browser. Okay, hang on.
Yeah.
Browser over here.
Do we run commands dry, or do you want to read the docs? Like normal user read the docs.
Oh yeah, let's do the
I'll
docs.
watch you.
So what do we do? Zephyr Cloud.
Yeah.
Cool. Do I try beta now or do I documentate?
Click on tab, like open 2 tabs for each one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So do your GitHub one, assuming you are doing it from your own GitHub account.
Yeah, I just have the one really. So.
Okay.
Let me, just in case.
Yeah.
I never know with this stuff. Okay. Nope. Okay, I think we're in. Does this look right?
Yes. Looks
Cool. Cool. There was nothing that was leaked. Stop. Y'all gonna.
I know your IP address. My team is standby.
No, great. Yeah. This is one of those elaborate plans, I guess. Yeah, a stream without doxing is always fake.
Let's go to the.
What am I looking at here? I'm guessing this is like my dashboard, my Zephyr dashboard.
Yep.
Okay. What do I do now?
Yeah, let's go to the docs.
The docs. Okay, cool.
And then there's I think a React RSpec plus NX on the left on the recipes.
Okay, recipes React plus Vite. Do we want or React RSpec NX?
The next one. Fun. Yeah.
Cool. So, do we want to just go through these?
Yep.
Cool. All right. Where'd my terminal go? Drop it in.
Yeah, Column wrote this template, so Column is watching right now.
Oh, nice. Yeah, all y'all in the peanut gallery, you know. I'm trying to get the inside track here with Lois, okay? Turbo Land getting jealous. Yeah, Lois and I were talking about that a little bit yesterday. Like I have not been keeping up with Turbo Repo that much, but like, yeah, I don't know. What did we say here? We want to do none for the stack.
Let's do a none. Yeah.
Okay, let's say prettier. What does it say here? That provider. Skip. Okay. No. Okay. What? Column, why? Why are you telling people not to have remote caching, Column? It's great.
Demo fails is both awful. Apps not found.
That's fun. Okay. Preset equals apps. Oh, I think the command was actually malformed because of the break, but I think we created it. I think maybe we did the wrong preset though. My workspace. Let's see.
Yeah.
We'll find out pretty soon if we did it wrong. It's opening up on another monitor, but there we go. Yeah, this is not the apps preset, I'm pretty sure, because it's got packages. Let's just RF my not all that stuff.
Is it
And
did it fail or nothing was created?
it was the wrong preset. So I don't know if you
Oh yeah,
kept
there is
about
space.
that, but there's a line break here between the preset and the
Mhm.
what we actually wanted to do it. So I am going to turn on remote caching column. Oh wait, he said there's a good reason for it. Damn it. Okay, fine. We'll do it again. Do it later. No. Cool. Cool. That should work. Workspace. Cool.
You have everything?
I think so.
Yeah. Looks good.
Let's find out. Whoops. There we go. We want to add hosts and remote. Okay, we've done this before with column. So we'll drop some of the stuff in here. Why is this so big? Get out of here. And I'm also on this is my non-streamer font size.
Yeah, there's space between your commands again. What's happening?
It's madness is happening, Lois. Just madness. There you go. All right. We're installing some stuff. And then we're going to what is going on with the formatting here?
To put it
Did I make it too small?
Yep. Widescreen. Yep.
Gotcha. Bigger. Okay. There. Let's get rid of columns so we can actually see stuff. We got the package installed. So next. Goodness. Go. Line breaks are killing me here. But there we go. Remotes 1 and 2. We're using a Bendler. Okay, so here we're bringing a host application and we're putting into apps host. So which style sheet format do we want? CSS, I guess. We're gonna go with. Is this part of the thing? Do we actually want to?
Choose CSS or tasks.
I'm just making sure we're not doing any end-to-end tests as part of it.
Or Playwright.
Either one is fine. Or do we do none? All right. I'd be very interested to see some end-to-end testing with Module Federation. Honestly, that'd be really cool. But good. I'm glad.
I'm still writing a docs for it. This kidding is actually really big.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. For what it's worth, this feels comically large on my screen, but I feel like this is actually the optimal streaming size.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. This is good to know. I didn't even see the button. Did I miss it?
Hover on the code blocks. There are copy buttons.
Gotcha. I'll take your word for it.
Look at my boss profile photo. He's looking at us like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah. He's shocked by our incompetence. I mean, we're just nothing's better than watching npm modules install on stream, right? Mm-hmm. So we'll get it figured out.
Do you have GitHub CLI here?
What's up?
Do you have GitHub CLI?
I think I do.
Let's try
How do I do that? Is that
GH auth?
What's that?
GH space auth.
What? Why are you trying to leak my stuff again? It's there. Yeah. Cool. So we've done this. CSS Cypress. Okay. So now we want to. Where's the? There it is.
You haven't run that. Have you run that one yet? I think.
Yeah, this was just the interactive prompts here. I kind of made up my own answers, and we got rid of this one now. I think.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and drop this in. Let me serve host. That remote 2. So what am I doing here? I'm running all the builds parallel 1. Interesting. We're skipping the NX
I don't
hash.
think this is the right command here. You only need to serve one host. Just do the one below MPX and
Do this one.
serve. Yeah.
Fair enough. Boom. Drop it in. That's pretty quick.
I guess Column has explained this to everyone, right?
Yeah, we've gone through this before. So like we have the idea of like there's the host app.
Yeah.
And then we have like the remotes. And when we ran our generator there, I imagine we just like created them all. The interesting thing to me, and this is like purely convention, is just like the remote, the idea of the remote going in as an app as opposed to a library is interesting. Like I get it. Like it's an app, and the idea that you kind of want to deploy it somewhere. But I guess the way I think of it, it's maybe I'm thinking of it is in terms of like a micro front end context. It's just like, to me, it's just a lib, right? It's just a lib that kind of lives somewhere else. But I mean, we're running now, right? So where do we hit it? It looks like there's 4202 and 4201. Are these the remotes? And then is 4200 going to be the main server? It looks like. All right, let's hit it. Hey, look at that.
The column said, "Praise the demo gods. I didn't see on error."
Nice. So yeah, Eric, this is kind of like what I was asking there. Like in my mind's remote 1 and remote 2, at least in the context we're looking at here, it's they're operating in just as like routes, independent routes. And I imagine, like we've done with column before, we could just hit those ones independently too, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
So I don't know if y'all saw that, but I just changed the URL there to like hit it directly.
Can I answer his question about like the federated modules of the remote 1 and 2? Yes. So the remote 1 and 2, they can be independent apps, and they are exposing some parts of the code to the host, and the host can consume it. So it's a provider and a consumer. You can think of it, it's not exactly a pub/sub pattern, but it's kind of communicating in that way.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool. So we have, this is kind of like the basic module federation example. Like we used RSPack again, like total black box to me, total black box, I think to most folks as part of this. But how do we, so we have Zephyr now. So what do we do now? I guess
so that one that run a server just to test to make sure that's working and running. So right now let's add Zephyr to this repo.
Okay.
Yeah.
How do we do that? I'm going to pull up the documentation. We can go from there, I guess. But name each component.
Actually, it should be naming each applications. I need to change this.
Naming each. Oh, I see. Yes. Yeah. So this is kind of like the folder structure.
Yeah.
And add package JSON. So we need to add package JSONs to each.
Yeah.
And drop this stuff. Okay. I'm going to move this to another monitor. Fun stuff with all this, but interesting. I thought we would have already had a package.json here.
Yeah, column take the answer as well. It doesn't have to be an app. It's sharing JavaScript over the network, and you can consume it, exposing it, sharing it. Within Module Federation itself is really just a syntax sugar over like 3 plugins: the container plugins, container reference plugin, and the share plugin. Container plugin, they match the expose part of what this chunk of the code should be exposing. They could be exposing the whole app. They could be exposing parts of it. And then the container reference plugin, they manage the remote. So they manage like where are we taking things from, and then the share plugin take care of the override part. So if you have seen like some module federation configuration, they have the shared, they're saying I want to share my React and I want to share my React DOM, and they might say like singleton true, because you might have like between your code, you might have different versions of React, and you definitely don't want a second copy of that. First of all, React is very big, and second, if you have different versions, it might break. So that's like really just how module federation manage the mechanism under sharing the JavaScript.
Cool.
Yep. So you have the package JSON, and
I
then
have the package JSONs. Each one, I have host, remote 1, and remote 2, and all we've done is just like throw in a version and a name there.
Yeah.
So cool. The next steps on the docs here is just to create a first commit. So
install. Have you installed your Zephyr plugin yet? Yes. Oh yeah, that's next one. Create your first commit. Make sure this is a GitHub repo. So let's run a git init.
Yeah, let me grab that. So we should have done git init as part of the create NX workspace, but git commit am, I don't know, first commit.
Is this a git workspace yet?
Yeah, it should be. Git status. Git. Oh, let me reset. And we'll add, and then we'll do that. Just make sure we're in a good spot. Okay, git log. So when we ran that create NX workspace, we dropped this.
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll do the git init for you. We just always assume folks are going to use that, which I think that's usually a safe assumption.
And then you need to do a GitHub repo, GH repo create, just to make sure you have a remote URL connected to this repo.
Okay. So like create, just push this up to GitHub.
GitHub repo create, GH space.
Oh, I never use that stuff. Okay, repo create like this.
Yep.
Okay, cool. And then what do I do? Is that it?
Yep. Enter.
Okay.
Push an existing local repository. Yes. Yep.
Here.
Yep.
I just leaked all the organizations I belong to.
Ooh.
No one saw that. Public, sure. At a remote.
Yes, please.
Yes. What should the new route be called? Origin. Yes. Gosh, dang it. All right.
Can't be established. What's happening? Failed to run commands. Correct. Do you have access rights here?
I don't know. Like I said, I rarely ever use this.
Yeah. Then let's do the engine one. Then let's go to the GitHub website and then create a repo and then link.
Yep. This is my normal workflow. I had the GitHub CLI installed just because I was doing some scripting on it.
You already have a workspace in this name?
That's may have been the issue. Workspace, I'll just call it demo. Create. There we go. This feels normal to me. We'll drop that. What? 80 of Git host to no. I don't know what's going on right now. I think I have another key right now that's conflicting with stuff. So unfortunate. But yes.
Without a remote URL, we can't deploy.
All right. Well, we'll figure this out. Hang on.
Requirement for your access, right?
Right. That makes sense.
Manually set. We could just manually set the URL Just copy the URL and then git set remote.
Right. Let's do that.
Yeah. Thanks, boss.
There we go. Add. Move.
What does that mean? What's the user should be the correct user? When am I not a correct user? I'm so confused. I'm having a discount issues on them.
All right. Well, I'm able to have the remote there. I'm just not able to push to it right now with whatever stuff I have set up.
Yeah, you don't have to push. We just need to commit hash and then remote URL.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So let me share again here. Where'd that go? Too many browsers, too many tabs.
Staying productive and busy.
Yeah, trying to. Cool. So what's next?
We go into the RSPack config.
Cool. RSPack config for which one now?
Every one of them.
So all of them?
Yes.
Cool. Let me grab the docs again. Everything's kind of messed up right now. Typical streaming, but
it's all good. You're good.
Cool. Thanks. All right. So we'll need to do this. Yes. Let's hit the button.
Yeah. You might need to do a -- false just to make sure. I think there will appear dependency conflicts.
Okay. We'll find out.
Yep.
Could not resolve. Okay.
I thought I merged this yesterday.
Cool. This is added. And so we want to do with Zephyr from the Zephyr Webpack plugin. Sorry, I'm reading from the documentation. Yep. So we wanted to use that, and we want to just drop it into the Compose plugins down there. So this is where I was saying. This is where I was saying the generator would be super nice. Why?
Yeah, okay. Imagine without NX, how much headache people need to go through for this.
Yeah.
Thanks, Colin.
Okay. Then we'll drop this down here. Zephyr, like that, I imagine. Yes. Let me grab this line. So we need to do this across all of our RSPack. RSPack config. What about for the prod ones? Do we need to do it there too? I would imagine so.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Gotcha. All right. Well.
The manifest file for Module Federation. You don't need to create a manifest file. It's rather you put you specify what you want to expose and what are the remotes in your Module Federation plugin, and you will create a manifest file for us. Is that correct? I'm not sure if that's the right way to say it. Yep. Fix the copy path paste part.
Yeah, I think they're talking about like when I tried to just copy this one line from the docs, it did that thing where there's like obviously these things are just tokenized out. I guess probably for like the syntax highlighting, so it looks right, but when when it's copied and pasted in, it's
It's not great.
It's a pain. Yeah. Like I get that there's the copy button, but like for this one, it's just the one line we want to drop in, right?
I think it could be good, just like let me think. Have a copy paste part, but then there's code comparison. People can see like the highlighting where they should put it, and the actual line they need to copy, and separate them.
Boom. Yeah, I don't know. It's been a while since I've messed with like that stuff, like what goes in the whatever they call it. Okay, so these ones are just pulling in from the other RSpec.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're kind of daisy chained in. Got it. Okay.
So you got 6 file done, so that's good.
Sweet.
Yep.
All right. So now what are we doing here?
We run build. MPX.
Cool. NX build host.
Remotes too. You need to have remotes first, otherwise you will run into circular dependencies.
Okay.
But build the remotes first, and then without building the host.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So NX build remote 1. This won't take too long. Oh, interesting. Y'all didn't see this, but it popped up in a new screen. This just opened up in the browser. So
yeah, and you scroll up a little bit in your terminal, like skip code, and yes.
Oh, there's Zephyr. Look at y'all.
Yeah. That URL at the bottom at Zephyr's, like that long thing, that's your deploy.
Let's try that. Open that up. So this is just out there on the web now, huh?
Yep.
So chat, check it out.
Implicit depth between the hosts. It depends on what type of manifest they mean. Manifest. Versus, I love column. Column is goated. 700s.
Column certainly is goated.
South Carolina SP. 776.
All right. Remote 2 is up.
Nice. Now we can do a host. Nice.
Cool. I see. Now I understand why you'd want to do the other ones first.
Yeah, because
it looks like
understand.
Right. So it looks like with the dependencies we had for NX, looks like we read 2 from the cache. So we probably would have been fine actually running the build from the host, because what that would have done was it would have seen the dependency on the host to the remotes. So it would have known to build the remotes first. So it actually would have worked, Lois. You're welcome. But
I have tried it. Wait, actually. Yeah, I'm going to try again tonight.
Interesting. Yeah. Let me try this. Let's do a change. So that is that URL static, I'm guessing?
Yeah, because we need to understand what are your remotes and where are they deployed to. We're overwriting a bundle, and if that thing never deployed, we don't understand what's right. So you have the keys in your module federation config that you have remote 1 and remote 2, but if we don't understand where they are yet, like it will break. Yeah, so it's not exactly building into like one app. Do you have the browser extension yet?
Which browser extension?
Chrome. Go back to the docs. There is a link.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Chrome extension. Zephyr mission control. Neat.
Yeah.
Zephyr has been added.
Yep. You might want to pin it and right-click on that, just to make sure it opens on side panel.
Yeah, I clicked it and nothing happened. I don't know.
Yeah, you need to like pin it on like right-click on that and open.
Oh, to pin it. I see.
Yeah.
So now it's here. Now what? Is it?
Right-click on that, and there's an open side panel.
Side panel. Ah. Okay.
and then click on the names.
Yep. Oh, neat.
Yep. Yep.
Oh, cool. That's pretty neat.
Where you can do hot swapping remotes in production for your host.
Oh, crazy.
Say, because right now we only have one version, we can't actually publish any updates. But if you have, say, your remote 1, 2 have like 10, 20 different versions and they all look different, then
interesting.
Select one of them and publish update at the bottom.
So I imagine like we had the step of just creating the package.jsons. I imagine that's mainly for versioning then, right? Like when we built, we actually did bump this version in any way. But would we need to if we want to make changes?
We don't need to bund any versions. We generate the versions for you.
Oh, okay, cool. Interesting. Okay,
we might look into how we change this in the future, but right now.
Gotcha. Well, one thing I wanted to try is I just made a small change here. Like you see remote 1 to 1, 2, 3. I just wanted to try if we just ran an NX build on the host. Imagine.
Have you deployed the remote yet?
I think so. Let's find out. So we read it out of cache for 1 of the 3 tasks. I imagine.
Yeah.
Where did this thing go? So over here, remote 1.
If your remote 1 is not deployed, we won't understand where they are.
Right.
And how are they doing?
Yep. Oh, interesting.
Oh.
I don't know what that was.
Where was
that?
That?
Interesting. It's all right. So like we will build them in order, but I guess what you're saying is that
can you click on the side, the side panel? There's a version. There are diverging versions of your remote 1.
Oh, I see.
You have 2 versions here. Click on one of them. Oh, not this one. Interesting. The other one?
It looks like both of them right now.
The second one.
Yeah.
The second top second one.
This one right here?
The under tags.
Oh, tags. This one?
Yeah. Click on this one.
I think that was the same one. It's just tagged a different way. But,
interesting.
Yeah. Clicking on it.
Have you run a remote 1 deploy build after you make changes?
No, I mean I did in the sense that NX ran it for us because we ran the for the host. I could do it explicitly for remote 1.
Yeah, you need to do it explicitly for remote 1.
Well, it's cached. So we could skip the NX cache. Yeah, that's interesting how that's gonna play into stuff. But so now if we go to remote 1, so now we see it. Interesting.
Yeah.
How weird. Okay.
We haven't built NX plugin yet. We will.
Yeah. NX plugin would definitely be helpful for some of this stuff. Just for like, if nothing else, just getting in the generators so we can like, get that in there. Yeah. This is exactly Column's question is exactly where I'm confused by too. So yeah, that's interesting to us. Like just the way NX like task dependencies should run. There should be no difference as far as like the way NX is concerned, at least from running like explicitly build remote 1 versus like build host, and then host should just like build the host first, and it wouldn't start the build of the host.
Is like when you build a host, does it trigger a Webpack build on remote 1?
Does it trigger a Webpack?
Are you reading from cache, or does it trigger a build? Because
no, I invalidated the cache for remote 1. So in doing so, it actually invalidated the cache for the host as well. So the way like the task scheduling works, it's like first we're going to see like which ones can we skip, And then we're going to go, okay, what's the dependencies here? So then we would just run remote ones builds, same as we would any other way. And then after that was complete, we'd say, okay, now we can start building, the host. So yeah, like Colm said, I'm curious that it didn't deploy property there. But yeah, to Zach's point, Zach, did you change your picture here, or do you have? Okay, because before he looked like this. It's the same name. Do we have two Zachs in chat? But deploy directly to Cloudflare ads, no setup, no GitHub action, directly from local. Yes, so I do see. So the whole thing I was getting at when we were talking about this, and more of the abstract Lois was like, I just didn't see the benefit of like, why would we do this? Now I do. I absolutely do. It makes a lot of sense to have this out there, especially for like, I guess this is in some ways like some staging situation where like I am not running this on my local machine. Like this is out there. Like other people can hit it too.
Yeah.
Which like is good and bad. But yeah, deployed 3 applications and host application loading in a ridiculously small amount of time. I don't know. No longer a chat. I don't know what a chat is. Oh, I get it. I think he meant the picture. I think he meant he changed his picture from a Chad to this. But
you can test what you're developing locally combined with what's in staging in production without actually changing production.
Right. Obviously, right. Like obviously there's different versions of this. So like my concern originally was like, why would we deploy that quickly? Like, why would we deploy on save? Well, it's because you're not really like deploying in the sense that I'm usually thinking about deploying, right? Because most of the times I'm sitting in my own sandbox, which is my own machine. So that makes perfect sense from that sense. Like, yes, I am deploying, but I'm deploying to like my own like cloud development system.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And like your URL is the prefix of the subdomain is generated based on like your repository, your emails, and we give you the versions and a random hash.
Yeah. Very cool. So it makes sense. It definitely makes sense.
Remember,
I can definitely see this being like a very helpful in terms of just like speeding up like developer cycles. And just like getting into like module federation as a deployment, or just like the development cycles that come with module federation. Because I think like at the very top of the stack of all this is just like, why would someone go to module federation? It's like so you can have independent deployability, so you can have faster builds. I see that. It comes with an incredible cost, though, in my mind. So this has always been, to me, I think I tweeted about this. This has always been prohibitive. Like, why would you take on all that extra complexity for what I didn't think was worth it? Like, yes, it's good things, but the added complexity is just like too much in my mind. But when you have things like NX coming in with generators to get those things set up, potentially manage these things more in the future too, going forward. And then you also have stuff like, now Zephyr Cloud coming in. We're trying to remove that complexity. Exactly, Colm. Like that's kind of like the progress, I feel like, is like there's obvious upsides and we're doing what we can to diminish the downsides there. Nicholas, what's up? Another NX guy here. Nice to see you, man. So yeah, it's really cool. I think, I don't know, there's a whole other set of discussions we could have. Like, when would you start wanting to go into module federation and micro front ends? I think like that's the threshold is moving as things move here too. Like as things get easier to set up and there's more support around it, that threshold comes closer and closer and closer to like, maybe it makes sense for like the indie to go and be using module federation. But for now, it's like the benefits, where this really benefits people, I think, is in these really large enterprise teams, right? where there's a big desire to want to deploy independently, and there's a big desire to have a huge code base that you can build quickly or quicker, maybe.
Yes.
So.
You can compose. So Zach said, you can compose any remotes together and any version into any environment and have them automatically progress based on rules and tags. Yes. The design of Zephyr is similar to MPN in a way. There are differences, of course, but essentially you can find your applications that's deployed as a registry to find where was it and how are they consuming each other and the relationship behind it. So that's we can click on the Zephyr dashboard, you should be seeing your application deployed on the dashboard. Not the side panel. You need to input like app.zephyr on your browser URL.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Gotcha. Zephyr.com or .io?
Zephyr-cloud.io.
Cloud.io. Okay. .io. Boom.
And then on the left, there's a drop down.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there they are.
Yeah.
Neat.
So you can click on like any one of this. It means like it has two remotes that is
Oh, gotcha. I thought originally I was like it had two deployments or something, but that makes sense.
Yeah.
Neat.
And then the versions is the UML. I think the UML is working. Yeah. Big enterprise team that you don't actually deploy. Yeah, Shane said once you feel the velocity and freedoms teams have via module federation, it's hard to go back to a monolith.
Yeah.
Yeah. And when you can actually deploy from just running your local build, having your private setup ish to run the deploy, switch in prod and check if things are working and just speed your own QA and test if things work. Or send the URL to QA right away and ask them, hey, can you help me test this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. I mean, one of the interesting things to me about all this is just, it kind of goes in with one of the things we had said before, like back in the olden times when we were just like dropping packages in like via links to like in the HTML to bring in a package. Like that's kind of seems like what we're doing here. It's just like we're building those modules out ourselves, which like it opens up some interesting possibilities of like going back to that world where it's just like, I don't know, you could just get those things from NPM or something like that. So
yeah, but it's time. It's like you think about, oh, I need to make sure my NPM account is linked, and then I need to think to publish that thing, and then I need to manage my versions of all my NPM package. So what exactly which version? Like, can I preview my NPM package? You can't do anything on NPM, like other than publishing the code somewhere. It's hosting your code. Yes, you can pull in the version, and then like, so who is going to keep a track record of like, okay, which version you want to pull it from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, it looks like there's some spoilers here in chat.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very exciting. We are looking into, since module federation, you can share any environments and any versions of JavaScript. We're looking into node environments for backend, federated backend.
Interesting. That's very cool too.
Having your API versions and deployed instantly.
Yeah.
And you live test.
Yeah. I mean, so for what it's worth, like I've messed around with micro front ends in the past, just using NX, and just like each one has their own like explicit deploy steps. Mm-hmm. But having something like this where you're actually just like publishing it as part of the build, like that, I could definitely see like the argument that you were making originally now absolutely makes sense, where I could see like the velocity just goes insane. right now, because
Yeah.
whereas before it was very deliberate, and like for what it's worth, there's something to be said for the deliberateness of it. But and that's where my original concerns were, where I was like, that sounds chaotic. Like, why are we deploying all the time? But no, it actually makes sense now, for sure. I
Appreciate
do
you.
wonder if there's like, so like just with NX dependency stuff, with this kind of workflow, it's just a little different than what I'm used to, because we're just like you're going out with it. What I imagine the way that like the where in this life cycle this happens must be at the end, right? We must be deploying it at the very end of everything.
Yes.
So I guess the thing that was coming into my mind was like, what if this fails? Like, so should we run tests before we do it? I guess that puts more friction in front of it. So that's probably not what you want to do.
We're working on that. Yeah.
Oh, okay, interesting. Well, it would be
I
definitely
would
interesting
say
to see
like
what you'll come up with that.
more like Webpack. It's more stable, and we trust Webpack Icepack more.
Okay.
It's more of like the other bundlers that they are not reusing the AST, or like some other bundler they deliberately design the hooks that are sequential. You have the plugin that should be run before that and plugin that should be run after that. And what if the user put like different sequence or different plugins, and it's all influence different things? So those are the parts that we are really like looking into and working on to make sure everything runs like align with each bundler, behave and perform the same.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. Well, okay.
Column said, I have a GitHub wrapper with an example of node federation already and not deploying it, but I spoke about it at next summit.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah.
I believe I remember that actually. But yeah, node federation definitely sounds really cool.
Yeah.
It seems like exactly what I like. It seems like a much better way of doing like the micro front ends thing. So you're not running just like all these things locally on your machine. You can actually have that infrastructure there. Like, and for what it's worth, I think that infrastructure, like deploying out to Zephyr, like you're doing here, that's actually more true to life, to like your actual environment you're actually going to deploy on too. So that's better as well. Sorry, did I interrupt you there?
Oh no, I was just like reading people's my boss was commenting. I need to pay him attention. I'm sorry. No, I need to give like Colin attention. I need to give Shane attention, like to my beloved colleagues. Yeah.
Gotcha.
So, their comments, they're saying the testing comes into how the tags and environments come in. And for example, you can pin environments to a tag like stable, and stable only gets updated when a build happens meant by the CI user.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. Run ETEs against a deployed production-like environment. That makes sense.
And whenever you're ready, push it into production.
Right.
Yeah. Markdown, was there any talks about setting up lambdas and backend code in the next at the summit?
Lambdas not specifically, but yeah, backend code, like I think that's essentially what Colin was talking about, was for node federation. The idea there being that it's backend federation. So federation inside of the backend.
Yeah, and then she said, I really need to get lambdas and stuff deployed out in a mono repo without them sitting in giant API gateway.
The money repo.
Me and Colin, like, and so we can talk.
Awesome. Yeah. Cool. Well, I see your value now, Lois. Like, not your value. I've always seen your value as a person. You're a great person. But I see the value of Zephyr Cloud. It's very cool. I see the value of Zephyr Cloud now.
Yeah. Yesterday you were like, why are you guys doing this? I don't understand. Why does Zephyr Cloud even exist?
To be fair, I wanted to give you the chance to change my mind.
Yeah, yesterday I said, I don't tell you anything. Sorry.
I mean, I reserve judgment. Like, I'm not going to like convert all of my projects to like Module Federation yet. But sorry, I didn't mean that. I didn't mean that in like some derogatory way. But yeah. I honestly, I did imagine there must be some value to it for Lois to be involved in the project. So
yeah. Zach, I see your value now. You put that on Twitter, you're gonna get cancelled.
Cancel me,
say
Twitter.
that to men is fine. Like say that to a girl somehow is kind of like very questionable these days.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Twitter can cancel me. I'm fine with that.
No, I hope everyone in the chat and I'm very happy that Zach tried out our app and really follow through the documentation. And I saw lots of things we could improve on, like both design and the docs. Yeah, thanks everyone for.
Yeah, this was great. We'll wrap it up here. It was fun. Like I said, we'll have to have Column on sometime to do like the Angular with RS pack stuff. That alone sounds cool. I think next week we're going to do like a recap of all the stuff that we came out with for the monorepo world. So that'll be a fun stream. We'll get that scheduled here pretty soon. But yeah, catch us on the Discord, catch us on Twitter, catch us wherever.
When you say do a recap, what do you mean? Like,
I think like just going over like the highlights from the conference, like the cool talks, the coolest talks.
Is it going to be like a reaction stream of like you watch the video and then you put some reaction?
I think that would be too involved. Like if you look at the live streams we had of it, each one was like there's 2 tracks and each one was like 8 hours long, I think.
Yeah.
And there's also like in addition to that first day, I think you left after the first day, right, Lois? You weren't there for day 2?
Yeah, I left after day 1. I gave the talk on day 1 and then I left on day 2. Yeah, we were ordering burritos at the reception.
Burritos that never came. Burritos that never came. Yes, that was
3-hour burrito never came.
Yes, but they gave me money for it. Like they gave me my money back and then more money on top, so I wasn't too upset.
Yeah,
but yes, but yeah, the whole day 2 was like the enterprise summit. So that's where we talked with some of our enterprise clients that were there for the conference. And so it was more like this, that was more of a like where day 1 was like a lot of talks. Day 2 was a lot more like small group conversations, that kind of thing. So we could like, it was part of it's like the cross-pollination, part of it's we want to actually hear from like the enterprise customers, especially just to hear what their specific needs are. So I think we'll be able to go into like some of the, like obviously not specifics, but like general trends that we noticed from that on the live stream too. So it should be great. So
all right. Yeah, I got to run, but thanks for inviting me. This has been great. I really enjoyed this.
Freaking Max, man.
Yeah.
I hate that. All right, that's enough of us. See y'all.
See you another time. See you. Bye.